there was a senator, I forget who it was, that was proposing a new law based on me sneaking through the loophole that performers should have to be vaccinated as well. And he was upset that that I wasn't vaccinated and that I was performing.
You could have infected the entire Madison Square
I could have been a
Garden.
super spreader. Yeah, but.
Well, in London, because I spent a lot of time over there the last 5 years, but their West End rebounded immediately, unlike Broadway. And the reason it did is because during that time period, you could show a vaccine passport, but you could also show a negative test. So they didn't demand that you have a vaccine. So they didn't lose their audience. Their audience came right back. And in Broadway, they basically told a third of their audience, you're not welcome. And so I can see why it might have been a struggle to get those people back into the theater.
Well, it was crazy. It didn't make any sense. Like, if the people are negative, they're negative. What do you give a shit if they're vaccinated? Also, what about people that got COVID and then recovered from it who have far superior immunity? 7x superior immunity to people who are vaccinated. Like, right. What are we doing here? Like, this is you're doing the pharmaceutical drug companies work for them. Yeah. And you're making people follow along and in lockstep, and it's just nuts. It just didn't even make sense that people were going along with this.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that's in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, for now. But, I feel like it's a case study in a lot of, if there are people that are manipulating society, and I think there's a lot of lessons that they learn from how we behave. And, relatively speaking, without making light of the pandemic, relatively speaking, a fairly mild pandemic in terms of the bubonic plague and all sorts of other things that have happened throughout history. The Spanish flu have killed way more people. It could have been way worse, right? So just one that was just twice as bad as the flu got people to behave like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the good news is, though, the uptake wasn't, a lot of people took it because they had to. It wasn't enthusiastically taking it. We did a play called Topsy Turvy, which was about lockdown, and we performed that in Eastern Europe, and it was really interesting to see their response there, because one of them said afterwards, I asked, what was the uptake on the vaccines in Romania, and they said something like 40%. I said, well, how do you explain that? And they said, well, we lived under the Soviet Union for many years, so we know how to look like we comply when we're not complying. And I said, what else reminds you of the Soviet Union?